Tonight, a big boost for farmers and Port Pirie with the announcement of a new abattoir, and news today of 2 companies entering into receivership.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Casey Treelaw begins now.
Good evening. After more than a decade in the making, Port Pirie is set to open a brand new abattoir. The $60 million project at Warnertown is set to bring in 215 new jobs, with the project being fast-tracked to open mid-next year.
A vote of confidence in Port Pirie's primary industry sector. The announcement of Pirie Meats, an abattoir targeting domestic and international markets, soon to be feeding hundreds of jobs into the local economy.
Direct employment for 215 people for a single shift, and the indications are from independent modelling that there could be another 150.
After more than a decade of planning, the final stages are moving quickly, with plans to have the $60 million facility up and running halfway through 2020.
It's been through 3 mayors to get to this particular stage, and I think it's just fantastic. The idea of 215 jobs coming and the processing starting in 4 months is just beyond my wildest imaginations.
With the abattoir set to provide a diverse range of options for the state's northern livestock industry.
Fully self-contained, full operations for multi-species livestock, sheep, goats and cattle.
And for producers, the location couldn't be more desirable. Having access to the facility in the mid-north is also set to dramatically cut down transport costs.
The farmers in this area here, the graziers and so forth, they've got to take all their stock right down to Murray Bridge, Narrow Court or down to Bordertown. It's a long, long way for them to go.
Construction for the facility is set to get underway mid this year. Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Multiple Port Lincoln businesses are left fuming today as construction company Unique Urban Built went into receivership this morning. The Adelaide-based contractor was working on the $9 million final redevelopment of the leisure centre. Nathan Bregter has more.
It was a hard blow for workers this morning who arrived at work to close gates, and the announcement their contractor, Unique Urban Built, had gone into receivership. The Adelaide-based company has been working on the final upgrade to the leisure centre expansion for the past 7 months after being awarded the contract by the Port Lincoln City Council last year. The upgrade was the 3rd and final stage of the $9.4 million redevelopment of the centre, which was jointly funded by the Australian Government and Council. Last year, the Council acknowledged Unique Urban Built in delivering large construction projects in other regional towns within the state, while utilising local contractors in its projects. Those local workers now without the work and with little assurity of what the future holds.
Meanwhile, Whyalla company Muradel has gone into administration today. The biofuel company had previously received millions of dollars in funding from federal and state governments.
Set up in 2010, Muradel was a game changer. It partnered with the Murdoch and Adelaide Universities in Whyalla to look at producing next-generation biofuel using lipid-rich algae in tyres. Commercial realities, however, have bitten, and the company has run out of petrol, going into administration last week.
When it comes to emerging technologies, for a whole bunch that get to the starting line, a lot do not finish.
BDO will run the process with a creditors meeting to take place in Adelaide on Friday. Its $14 million Whyalla pilot plant has not been in great use for a few years. During its history, Muradel has received a $4.5 million federal government grant, along with support from the state government. Mr. Hughes is confident taxpayers will be okay.
The previous CEO of the operation was a highly credible individual that always attempted to do the right thing.
14 staff are now facing an uncertain future. As for the site, which was leased from Whyalla Council, its future also remains clouded.
Muradel are actually in active negotiations with a number of parties to take over the lease of that property. We actually have a number of parties who are looking at development opportunities.
John Hunt, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Alliance Resources is moving into the next stage on a gold deposit near the Eyre Peninsula town of Kimber. A report has been produced on the quality, with the project expected to move into a pre-feasibility study. It's drilled 119 times into the site and believe it's found a strong deposit. It's estimated to hold 181,000 ounces of gold. GFG has announced it's working with Italian firm Denelli on its multi-million-dollar renovation of the Whyalla Steelworks. It's one of a number of initiatives underway to help upgrade the ageing plant. John Hunt has more.
Since a major reveal ceremony in December last year, Whyalla residents have been waiting for work to begin on GFG's transformation of the local steelworks. The company provided an update to residents this week, outlining what's been achieved in the first quarter of this year. Steelworks management has begun working with Italian firm Denelli on designs for the new rolling mills. They've also undertaken ground testing to gain an understanding of how the new mill would interact with the ground. The new mills would increase maximum production from 1.5 to 1.8 million tonnes per year. Meanwhile, a Chinese company is teaming up with Denelli for the project. CISDI Engineering will help with designs of a new pulverised coal injection plant. The upgraded system will help fuel the blast furnace, which is due to be replaced in the mid-2020s. So it's been a busy start to 2019 for GFG's transformation team. However, the next stage is going to be the most complex, which is turning those ideas into reality.
The future of Port Augusta's City Safe program is still up in the air after council delayed any big calls on whether or not to renew the contract of the service. The decision has many in town divided on the issue. Garth Burley has the details.
It's the big decision that's been looming since the turn of the new year, but it will still be another 2 weeks before council decides the future of its City Safe services. Councillors seeking a delay at the meeting last night to further deliberate their stance on the matter. Commonly known as the K9 Unit, the service has been active in Port Augusta for over 10 years and is employed by council to help manage antisocial behaviour in town. But many councillors are undecided on whether the contract, worth $240,000 a year, should be renewed, with some fearing antisocial behaviour could increase, while others feel council shouldn't bear the financial burden of the program.
I believe the decision made by the elected members last night was the right one if they want more information, because this is an important decision.
Managing Director Tony Edmonds is seeking a 5-year extension, but Mayor Brett Benbow hasn't ruled out offering a shorter deal. We spoke to many businesses today who declined to speak on camera, but told 7 Spencer Gulf News they were divided on the issue. A decision will now be made at the next council meeting in 2 weeks' time.
Still to come tonight, how the young and old are coming together through mass, and a football carnival set to kick off the Broken Hill season. Hello again. Students from John Peary Secondary School have been busy breaking down learning barriers and showing off their math skills to the residents of Helping Hand. It's proving to be a great learning environment for both old and young.
Year 9 students from John Peary are going old school. They're ruling out age from the equation through sharing math skills at the lodges of Port Peary's Helping Hand.
Rather than just a one-off visit, I wanted it to be about building those relationships, not just, seeing them, but actually getting to know them, learning from each other.
And the unique method of teaching math is proving to be a massive hit for the students.
I actually really enjoyed this because it's just better than sitting in a classroom where we actually get to socialise with people and listen to our elders.
And play games with them, we just come and have a chat with them, just to get different relationships with different age groups.
For the residents, it's a chance to give a helping hand.
The partnership with the school has been really beneficial to both the students and the residents.
Connecting with the town's youth has become a weekly highlight for many.
Beautiful to hear the laughter, the enthusiasm, the noise. It's just a noise that you could bottle it.
Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
As Youth Week kicks off today across the state, agencies in Port Augusta are ramping up their efforts for an event to celebrate young people. Held at the Eastside Foreshore this Friday, a party will feature live music and food, as well as a mechanical bull, tug-of-war and basketball.
It's a great opportunity for young people to connect with other services and see what's out there and have some input to what goes on in the community.
The event will run from 3 till 7 and organisers are urging the community to get involved. The Royal Flying Doctors Service will soon have a new addition to its fleet of aircrafts after unveiling a flying intensive care unit worth $7 million. The new set of wings announced late last week is made possible through funding support from new major sponsor Beach Energy.
We operate in remote locations. We rely on the help of RFDS if any incidents occur out there, and we have for a long time.
The RFDS says it will aid the operations in South and Central Australia, which airlifts 25 patients a day. We could be set to have more regional live music under the launch of the Regional Accelerator Music Program. The Minister for Innovation and Skills visiting Port Lincoln today to announce the project.
More music and more artists. That's the government's goal with the launch of their latest project.
We want our regions to be vibrant. We have a focus on growing regional South Australia, both the job opportunities and of course the recreational opportunities.
The Minister launching RAMP, a program aimed at ensuring regions benefit from the economic and cultural effects of live music. The government investing $100,000 into the project.
Have an event you want to plan, or you have a series of events you want to plan, you can put a bid in for a grant from that $100,000, and that could be for assistance with venue hire.
The Minister holding roundtable discussions with regional musicians today, outlining the project's ambitious targets over the next few years.
10% growth in the live music industry, 10% growth in the economic benefit that it brings to the regions, and a 10% growth in the number of musicians in the region.
Organisers say regional communities will feel the economic benefit flow on.
It brings in tourism, and live music or music is one of the three key attractors of tourism. So food and wine are the highest. And then music.
The project will also be rolled out in Port Augusta, Whyalla and the Murraylands. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A Broken Hill sharpshooter has taken out the Australian National Championships for cowboy action shooting. Ben Grossi competed in the event in Victoria at the weekend, walking away as the 2019 national champion. Cowboy action shooting involves a wide variety of Western firearms, including revolvers and lever-action rifles. Shooters also dress up in Western attire. Ben is now a 5-time national champion. Still in Broken Hill, and its footy season kicks off this weekend, but it won't be a regular round of Aussie rules. All 4 clubs will take part in the annual Lightning Cup this Saturday, a pre-season knockout tournament.
For some clubs, footy training began as early as November last year, so this weekend has been a long time coming.
It's a real family carnival atmosphere, and the weather's always in the mid-20s, so it's a perfect way to start footy.
This Saturday, Broken Hill's men's and women's teams will compete in the Lightning Cup. While many sides have had internal trial matches, the tournament provides the first real hit-out for local clubs.
But the opportunity is there that all clubs can run as many players as they like. They're all guaranteed at least 2 games. It's an opportunity that they can look at players in different positions.
The format for the Lightning Cup is simple. The winners of the first 2 matches will progress and play in the final, while the losers will play off in a curtain raiser. The women will play 2 15-minute halves. The men's will go for 20 minutes. After the Cup, the first round will commence on Anzac Day.
It'll be nice to have those few days off, get away at Easter and refresh themselves and come back and launch into the season proper.
Mr Schmidt says the upcoming season could see a record broken. The South Footy Club have not lost a game since round 6 of 2017. That's 29 wins in a row. The record currently stands at 30, set by North in the early 2000s. Patrick Ryanke, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break, a preview of this week's fuel prices, and we'll have the weather details with Brit. Welcome back. Time now for Fuel Watch. Here's Patrick in Broken Hill.
With the Easter long weekend fast approaching, petrol prices have started to climb higher. Starting with unleaded, and Port Lincoln is now dangerously close to paying $1.50 a litre after jumping by 2 cents. Port Augusta joins Port Pirie on $1.43. Kadina is starting to go up but still averages $1.40. Whyalla has gone against the trend, actually dropping 3 cents to almost be back in the $1.30s. Broken Hill is still around the mid-40s, while Adelaide motorists have enjoyed some low prices. The average in the city is about $1.36. Turning over to diesel now, and Port Lincoln is the most expensive in the Gulf, up to $1.52. Whyalla is down a cent. Port Pirie, Port Augusta and Kadina are all about the same. Broken Hill has ticked up to $1.54. Adelaide is at an even $1.48. Finishing off with a quick look at Autogas, and there's been some movement. Port Lincoln is up by 2 cents, Whyalla is down by 2 cents. Kadina has seen a 3-cent spike and is now paying 88. Broken Hill 90, Port Pirie 89. Now remember, these prices are the regional averages and they do not reflect any one particular outlet. And if you do find a spot that does sell unleaded, Autogas or diesel for cheaper, be sure to let us know on our Facebook page.
Thanks for that, Pat. And time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Britt.
Thanks, Casey, and good evening. We've had a mostly sunny day today. Port Augusta with a top temp of 26 degrees, Whyalla 21, Port Lincoln with some cloud cover and a top of 19, Broken Hill and Adelaide both 20, Port Pirie 23. To the satellite, where we can see the high pressure system south of the Bight moving slowly towards the east. This will continue tomorrow. On the waters, easterly winds at up to 15 knots, seas at 1 metre, and sunrise is due just before 20 to 7 with sunset at 6:03. And we've got another mostly sunny day ahead of us. Port Augusta looking at a top of 26, Whyalla 24, Port Lincoln and Coffin Bay both 23, Woodner 27, Corn 24, Broken Hill 23 and partly cloudy, Port Pirie 25, Clare 22, Cleve and Kadina 24, Adelaide 23. And the weekend is looking fine and partly cloudy. Port Lincoln with tops in the mid-20s, Cleve much the same, Woodner 29 on Saturday, sunny with a top of 30 on Sunday. Whyalla with tops of 27 across the weekend, Port Augusta mostly sunny with maximums reaching 30 degrees, Kadina 27 on Friday, Saturday 26. Port Pirie with tops of 28 across the board, Clare 26 Friday through till Sunday, Broken Hill with maximum temperatures of 28 Friday and Saturday. And that's tomorrow's weather, Casey. I'll be back a little later with updates.
Thanks for that, Britt. And that's the local news this Wednesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.